Good evening, Winchester. My name's Heather Von Mering, and I'm going to be filling in for Alan this evening. We are on night 3 of town meeting. We are in the first half, and town meeting is just breaking. Today, we started off with Article 28. Article 28 was for an appropriation of $450,000 to be appropriated for the early literacy pilot program. We heard from the sponsor, Mr. Michael Betancourt. He is the citizen petition sponsor for the article and also a member of the select board. He noted that it is a one-time funding source for an early pilot program for early literacy. It is a budget item, and it will likely, the financial piece for full pilot, not a pilot program, but the full program itself, will be back next year with asking for more money for the operating budget. FinCom supported this article, completely favorable. The select board as well, unanimous, and the school committee. The town meeting debated this for a little bit of time. There are a lot of questions around the culture in the school, a lot of people saying that it was long overdue. There were some questions to the proponent, Mr. Betancourt, worried that this is a one-time funding source and that the issue is not a one-time issue. However, Mr. Betancourt noted that he was worried that it would be cut from the school's budget and wanted to make sure that there was focused funding for it. With that, there was a little bit more conversation back between town meeting members with questions to the school committee and Mr. Betancourt, and the motion passed in the end. Then we moved onward to Article 22. Article 22 is really what everyone in town meeting likes to call the yellow sheet. On the yellow sheet, it is all the appropriations for the funding for our operating budget for town. Under Article 22, we started with the general government. General government category includes such as the town manager, the finance committee, engineering, building and zoning department, conservation commission, the planning board and their staff, town clerk. And that motion was supported unanimous by the select board, and it passed unanimous from town meeting. We then moved to culture and recreation, though that category includes the library, archival, and the historical commission. That passed and was supported unanimously as well by the select board. Moving on to the health and social services category, that includes the Board of Health, the Council on Aging, and Veteran Services. That was supported unanimous by the select board, and obviously FinCom is the one who's bringing forward the yellow sheet. They supported it unanimous as well, and that passed as well. And then we moved onward to the public safety. That includes the police department and fire department and weights and measures. With that passed as well, unanimous from town meeting, and also was supported by the select board. Then we went to the Public Works. That's the Department of Public Works, also referred to as the DPW in town, and also the snow and ice budget for the Department of Public Works. Both of those motions passed unanimously. Moving on, at the time of the break, we were on the education budget. The education budget has 2 categories. We focused just on education for Winchester Public Schools. Was a presentation from the Finance Committee talking about the expenses and that the municipal is asking for 18% of the revenue and the schools are asking for 87% of the town's revenue. At this time, they are not seeing that we are able to achieve a balanced budget using just the revenue, and that our expense, also 2 points they really wanted to drive home was that our expenses are exceeding our revenue intake and that our capital is significantly underfunded to keep up with maintaining it. There are multiple options that they looked into, including increasing the revenue, and they ended pretty much is capital is essentially put to the side, quote, to fund operating. And so there's a big concern voiced by FinCom this evening that capital is a concern for our town. Town meeting began the debate with recommendations from the school committee and Dr. Hackett gave a presentation as well about what the circuit breaker is. At this time, FinCom is recommending that the school committee tap into a circuit breaker fund. It's pretty complicated of how it is used and how we receive it to compensate for the shortcoming of the budget. It is about a $1.7 million shortcomings for our schools, and FinCom is recommending that the school committee look into using the circuit breaker. The select board voted unfavorable on the motion presented by FinCom that underfunded the school's request by the $1.7 million, 4-1. The school committee obviously does not support underfunding the schools. And we also heard uniquely tonight from WinPAC. WinPAC is Winchester's Parent Advisory Committee for Special Education, Families, and Students in our community, and they also recommended unfavorable. They noted that using the circuit breaker is not in the best interest of the students of Winchester. Then we went into debate of the town meeting, which is where we ended. Right before that, though, there was a motion to amend on the floor of town meeting by a town meeting member, noting that they were not ready that we are not in a place where we need to get circuit breaker funding, tap into that early, and that it's really in the best interest, they felt, of our community, and made the motion to amend the budget to $70,415,718 with $1,711,639 from free cash. And we broke at that point where town meeting was debating it to take a little break, and we'll get back to that when we return and continue to debate that. For those who are not in the room with us, we do have a bunch of the union members. The teachers are in attendance this evening with FinCom, along with a lot of our youth. Thank you as well for joining us from home, and we'll continue with an update at the end of town meeting. Welcome back. We have now just adjourned night 3 of Winchester's spring town meeting. And night 3, after our break, we continued discussing the school's budget. At that time, there was a motion to amend, and the motion was to amend the school's budget to use free cash, $1,711,639 from free cash to offset the school's budget, so that it would be $70,415,718. A lot of debate came through after that and after the break. A lot of discussions, a lot of great points on both sides. And in the end, the vote passed with 102 in favor and 60 against. From there, because it was a motion to amend, we returned to the motion as amended, and a few comments came in thereafter, but not many, and there was a voice vote, and the school's budget passed as amended and was fully funded as the schools had requested, using free cash. After that, we went down and continued down the yellow sheet, which all of town meeting uses. Looks like this. From there, we took up the vocational education vocational education budget that passed unanimously. We went on through the undistributed, which includes the energy, Medicare tax, health insurance, the reserve fund, a few other items that passed unanimous and was also supported unanimously by the select board. Then we went on to the funded debt. There was for the funded debt principal, we have $7,418,500, and that was funded by town meeting. And then we went to the funded debt interest, which is $7,186,378, and that was also funded by town meeting. After that, we went on to Article 23, which is the water and sewer enterprise. Town meeting voted in favor of that, along with the select board in favor. Article 24 was the recreation enterprise. That was an interesting quick vote, but with that came some new additional information that the recreation program's Lynch School RAP program will not be returning as part of the Lynch opening in fiscal year 26 was announced. With that, the select board recommended favorable action town meeting, and town meeting voted in favor of that. From there, we moved on to Article 25. Change my book. And that was to appropriate a sum of money to the Building Stabilization Fund. It was $30,000, established under Chapter 69 of the Acts of 2002. Town meeting reviewed that and voted also favorable. 26 was our consent agenda, so we already had voted that on night 1. And then we went to Article 27, which 27 was about the health reimbursement arrangement program. Essentially, health insurance has been a big topic of conversation for Winchester, as the proposals provide a premium of 18.92% for the fiscal year 26. And when they came into that and they came and saw that was an unexpected increase, way more higher than they anticipated, the select board, with the support of the town manager, began to look at their options to help save the town money due to this unexpected expenditure. As FinCom noted, the mechanics were very complex, and the select board referenced a statute that they used to help build this. A town meeting member specifically wanted to know about how the reimbursables for the premium are going to impact our employees, and there was a discussion about that. And as part of the statute, 25% of the savings the town receives in the process they're asked town meeting to do would go back to the subscribers. With that, town meeting did vote and approved Article 27 to fund the health reimbursement arrangement program, which is titled the Employee Health Care Mitigation Fund. Then finally, we moved on to Article 20. One moment, we're going to get there. We moved on to Article 30. Article 27 we had taken up already, along with 28. So we moved to Article 30, which is the Winchester Committee on Community Preservation's article. And at this time, if you remember correctly, during our national election, we had on the ballot question for a Community Preservation Act, which is a portion of a tax increase where the funding of that increase would go specifically to help supporting projects inside our government, which included open space and recreation, historic preservation, affordable housing. At this time, town meeting was asked to begin to start to set up the Community Preservation Fund for fiscal year 26. There was discussion about the Community Preservation Administration budget, which is $25,000. With that 5%, that is a state recommendation that 5% of the budget for the CPA would be allocated towards administration. There was some conversations from a town meeting member that the taxes will start being received in July of 2025, and that they're looking to only start expending them out in 2026, late 2026. With that, they would like them to consider accelerating this spending as we do have immediate needs. The chair of the Winchester Committee on Community Preservation noted that they will allow appropriate proposals to come in if they arise, but they can't commit to accelerating the expenditures to meet needs at this time, but they will look into it. And that, at this point, that wrapped up our night. Hopefully, Alan will be back for night 4 of town meeting, but it was a pleasure helping you. All the best to Winchester.